What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the Mona Lisa of bodybuilding. So finally we got to see a workout video from Camp Psycho at about 3 weeks out of this year's Miss Olympia, which by the way is one of the most anticipated one for Andrew Jacked, as we are all ready to witness something really special from one of the most aesthetic looking man in the current bodybuilding at the moment. So really no surprise there at all that a whole lot of focus is being put on Andrew's back. Because the thing is, we all know, the current champ Garrett Lansford, he has one of the greatest backs of all time. And when it comes to Andrew Jacked, even last year when he won Texas Pro, most of us had a consensus that his front shorts are Mr. Olympia worthy already.
Derek has set the standard for the back. So guess what? We had to get on board and we had to come in with a great back. So that's what we've been working on.
And then the physique that we saw from Andrew Jacked at this year's Texas Pro, that was just bonkers. And that is just after one good off season. Because this was the first time Andrew took a proper off season after turning pro. So looking at him absolutely smashing it this year, that 100% justifies him pulling out of this year's Arnold. Because that off season that was much needed. And I think we can all agree that off time that paid off big time. So this shot right here of Andrew's arms, that is just unbelievable. So Chris Lewis aka Psycho Fitness is extremely confident about the current conditioning of Andrew Jacked. So just like all the top guys, like Hardy, Derek, Nick, Samson, he is also ready to step on stage anytime. So the effort isn't just being applied in the training sessions. I'm sure Psycho Fitness must be killing him in those posing rounds as well. And that too every day. Which is why we have seen this so many times. That his posing and presentation is just impeccable. So I believe this is gonna be Andrew's best package to ever step on the bodybuilding stage. And if he tops that Texas Pro look, and if he is sharper, more conditioned from the back, no one is safe.
He's already looking, he can walk on stage right now and beat his Texas look.
Next up we have a 3 weeks out physique update from William Bonac. So the beauty of this year's Miss Olympia prep for William Bonac, and that too for the very first time in so many years, is that he has no pressure, no expectations. He took the entire last year off, solely focusing on his health, and a whole lot of people were really doubtful that whether he will be able to make it to the Olympia stage this year or not. So that mission has already been accomplished by winning Emperor Classic Spain this year. And William Bonac really competed a lot during this season. So the Olympia this year, that is gonna be his 4th show of the season. And he did not place outside of the top 2 in any of his previous shows. So things are obviously not the same for William Bonac as they were in his prime. Just forget about his waistline and his shoulder to shoulder width, as we know he is a lot more narrow now. But also the pop and the fullness that William Bonac used to have in his prime, that isn't the same anymore. And that is gonna impact his placing big time. So William Bonac isn't one of those physiques now who can draw the judges' eyes towards him, especially in a lineup like the Olympia. But then again, he's just having fun at this point. So I really like the way William Bonac has been hitting that front double biceps. That discrepancy between his legs, that has become more noticeable. But the thing is, that isn't something new for William. He was suffering from the same issue back in 2019 as well. Still, he is one of the greatest bodybuilders we have seen in the last decade or so. And if Olympia turns out to be his last contest, he should get a standing ovation, which I'm sure he will. Next up we have an update from the mutant, Nick Walker, another one showing his massive quads after going through one of the last few remaining leg workouts. So Jake Cutler has always been a big supporter of Nick Walker. And even after Nick Walker was unable to live up to the expectations at this year's New York Pro, Jake Cutler really believes that he can really shock a lot of people and plays well above the expectations. And he has the ability to prove a lot of predictions wrong, which as of right now going all against him. Now you have got to agree with one fact, that Nick Walker has been one of the most consistent guy when it comes to peaking for 99% of the shows, when it comes to bringing that rock hard conditioning every single time he enters the show. And things are gonna be the same for the Olympia this year as well. And this time it is kinda personal for him, because he felt disrespected, because many people initially did not even have Nick Walker in their top 5 for this year. But the tricky part for Nick Walker at the Olympia this year is that even he himself and his coach Matt Jensen know that Nick Walker cannot win the Olympia title if the top 2 from last year, they show up at their A game, they show up at 100%. And this is what Jay Cutler also pointed out, that for Nick Walker to win the Olympia, to cause an upset here, someone from last year's top 3, they need to slip.
And it's very hard. He seems to really peak at the Olympia no matter what. And I have a lot of faith in Nick Walker. I really think that if someone slips up enough, Walker's sliding in that spot.
Now, is that possible? 100% yes, that's possible. And we have seen that almost every year at the Olympia stage, when the competitors look so damn good leading into the show. In all the progress pictures, they are looking absolutely awesome. And on the show day, they miss their peak because just one simple variable can go wrong, and that can totally mess up your peak. Now, Nick Walker will have the most surprise factor when he first walks out on that stage, because the thing is, we have seen little to nothing throughout this year's Olympia prep from Nick Walker, and his plan is to shock the entire bodybuilding world. Next up, we have the current physique update from Quinton Beastwood. That man is just built different. No wonder why so many people claim that Quinton has some of the best genetics in the men's open bodybuilding, at least in this era. So did someone else also notice his arms? And I'm not exaggerating here, but those arms look bigger than his head in these current pictures. So the off-season has been rolling quite nicely for Quinton, and he has no intentions of blowing up to 330 pounds this time around, just like he did last time. So this is him at slightly above 300 pounds, and he looks to be in a solid condition at the moment. So we are hoping that 2024, or maybe 2025 will be the year when Quinton finally gets his first pro win, and also qualify for the Olympia next year. So we were also hoping that 2024 will be the year when we are finally gonna get to see him on the Olympia stage. But unfortunately that did not happen. The thing is, the man has been competing as a pro for quite some time now, and he has seen some real close calls. There have been multiple times in Quinton's career where he has placed runner-up and just one more spot to go to earn his Olympia qualification. So we have been saying this every year, that this will be the breakout year for Quinton. But so far that hasn't happened. But looking at the way he looked at this year's Toronto Pro and how much that look was appreciated by the judges, I believe 2025 is gonna be the year when we are finally gonna see him on the Olympia stage for the very first time in his career. Now, to get to that level of top 10 at the Olympia level, he needs to bring more size overall. Especially he needs to bring up his back, because that has been the biggest knocks on his physique ever since he came onto the pro scene. So no surprise there at all that Michael Daboul wins the Titan Grand Prix, and that too very convincingly. I mean, he is a top 6 guy in the world. So according to him, this was the best he has ever looked. And just looking at that conditioning, it seems like this guy can get bone dry, no matter who is coaching him. So what Michael Daboul did last night, that is almost non-existent in this era, where competitors are always afraid to jump into a show, especially this close to the Olympia. But that isn't the case with Michael Daboul. And wait, this isn't just it for Michael. He just announced that he will be doing the Legion Sports as well, which by the way is happening this coming weekend, and also secure his Olympia spot for 2025. So the one thing that is always missing from Michael is the fullness in his chest area, especially when he does that front double biceps. It tends to flatten out, and maybe it has something to do with him getting down to that weight cutoff, and when he pulls the water, he just tends to flatten out, because he has a great chest overall. So I don't think Michael Daboul can win the Classic Physique Olympia title, but he can be the guy with the most number of IFB Pro wins in Classic Physique category. So this was his 7th pro win, and I don't think anyone is gonna stop him from getting his 8th at the Legion Sports this upcoming weekend. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.